Alright, hello, this is the Sexy Brutale. Audio, mic, okay, cool. Well, I'm good to get going whenever we are. Alright. 3, 2, 1, go. Cool, so sound should start playing after the loading screen. Long loading time. There we go. So this is a small little introduction to what this game is. There's this crazy marquis, he's called Lucas, who controls this casino mansion. People are trying to kill the guests in the game, and you're this priest trying to save all the different people. Called Lafcadio Boone. And we have all the time in the world. Alright, so there's not much speed tech in this game other than clicking fast. And everything's pretty predetermined as everything happens to the clock. Unfortunately, this very starting area is quite tutorial-esque. It will show you how this game works. There's this bloody lady, which is her actual name. She walks up to us very slowly and puts her hand on us quite slowly. There's also text boxes in this game, like that. But all of them are click-based, so as fast as I can click is as fast as the text boxes will go away. And she just sort of dissolves into blood, don't worry about that. She does that quite a lot. Alright, so here's the actual starting of the game. It's move, mouse button, there's doors, and you'll see all the different rooms and stuff. It's really cool, this little art style. I know, I quite enjoy it, but where everyone else is. So the only real RNG I can say in this game is whether the doors will work or not. If you're into stalking, this is a very good game for that, since you basically stalk all the characters in it. You go through daily as everything is on a cycle basis, and you watch someone during their daily routine and how they die and if they get murdered, all that sort of thing, and then try to prevent that. So right now we're watching the person die, who's going to die, spoilers, going throughout their daily day. So come on, doors, please, thank you. We good? So we're looking at this plant right here. It's a very nice plant. So yeah, he's looking through this safe because he's trying to look for something. Also, not entirely sure if you guys can hear, but the game audio is real great. So I hope you enjoy this scene because we'll see it a few more times. So there's a mysterious guy with a gun, as you can sort of see the little tip of it there. You don't know what's going to happen. And then it's really kind of ironic since he says you don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to see this scene a few times, so... Oh. A nice little church, beautiful. Oh yeah, he gets shot, sort of blood, explosion. Now, it's sort of possible to do this run blindfolded, if you're good enough, because it's very sound-based. So, we sort of reset time, and we have to get into this cupboard. Oh. Just check in a second. Oh, it doesn't matter. So we're getting in this cupboard. In this game you can go into cupboards to stay in the same room as someone, just to spy on them still. You can see everything that goes on. So now we're watching this guy, who's the 2 of diamonds, hence the 2 and the diamonds on his head, and how he finds the gun. So this is important to the actual puzzle, we'll find later. Gotta press shift. Nice. Cool, so now we watch the scene from the other perspective. So we're looking through the keyhole, we're watching, please, you can't do it. I would talk out louder. Man, I'm sorry. what's going to happen is I'm going to shoot you messily in the chest. Oh man, so this is the only real one of the more complex sections of multiple buttons I have to press at once, since I have to mash a lot. Go back and press X. Hey, difficult strats. Propping your mic. Oh, okay, this. You alright? So this is the first real thing we get in the game, the broken stopwatch, where we can use it to fast forward to certain parts into the day. So we can fast forward into 4, well, at the moment we can just reset the time back to 12. So it all starts on Saturday, and basically we have to solve this puzzle and try to figure out how to not get that guy shot. So as you can hear, he's sort of walking along there as we saw him earlier. He explains to you maps. And basically we have to wait until he walks over to there, walks into this room here, opens this safe, and a little bullet will come out. So this is the first little waiting section in the game, where I don't have to do anything. So if there is any incentives, feel free to.
We actually have a donation. $25 from Ren Bimon saying, "Best of luck to all the runners." As for any bids, Battleshift Brigade's incentive is now standing at $50 out of 200, so we're a quarter of the way there, almost there. So let's get those donations going in, guys.
Oh crap. So if you can hear the game audio, you can hear like every single footstep as they go, and I can hear them opening, closing the doors as well. So you can very much use that to your advantage. And there's a guy that's about to leave that door, as we saw earlier. I go into it. There's a slight tech that you can do is when entering a room, if someone else is leaving the room but they're in the animation of leaving the room, you can still enter it and it won't freeze the time. So now you can see the whole scene and how we actually saved this dude. Yeah, I'm enjoying myself. What the hell? No, so basically, since we put a blank into the gun, he couldn't do that, and so it's time for the second round. But oh wait, here we go. Yeah, okay, and we saved the day. He didn't die in the end. Nice, easy puzzles. It gets a little bit more complex later on. So there isn't many skips or anything in this game, but there is quite a bit of routing you can do, since it's trying to complexly make sure you do everything that's needed for the puzzle in a short amount of time. It's quite an easy game to first get into, especially since when I was first playing this game, I really loved it. Since it just has such a nice little feel to it, and also just spending your whole day watching through each of the people's different patterns, and some of the things that happen are really crazy. It's really amusing just to see all the different things that happen. Like the next people we save. Oh yeah, this is the bloody girl appearing again. She basically turns up after you save everyone and says put on the mask. That's basically the summarization of what she said, and then we get a new power. So this is the whole power of being able to transfer it to 4 and 8, clock mastery, which we'll use quite a lot in the run, which is probably the power we'll use the most in the run, since we get it at the beginning. Alright. Nice, Saturday. So, next, what she told us to do next was go to the cathedral. And this is the starting little area where we go into the casino. Oh, long loading screens. So if you notice, that's actually the 2 of diamonds up there, and he's walking off to do what he was about to. And we do have to wait for this. Hey, the Sexy Brutale, that's the game. No. If only. Just the title card for now. So, the bloody lady told us to go to the casino, so that's where we're heading over. Sometimes there's this bit of stream delay, or not stream delay, just lag in transitions. Now she turns up again, bloody lady. Get out on the floor, in a pool of blood. And she explains us the winding keys. So, you can pick up these winding keys to wind up these clocks, basically letting the clocks be enabled. And also, we basically have these migraines every time we're about to save someone. So these are the next 2 people we're about to save, and it has like images of how they potentially die in the thing. So we have him at the casino and him, her, drinking, not drinking, in a place. I know this game. So there are 2 things you can do at a clock. You can use it to fast forward the time, and you can also use it to reset it to be your starting place. You need the winding key to let you be able to do that in the first place, and the winding keys are all around the place. Basically, to save... Oh yeah, we can just run through this area. Like, usually it tries to detract you from being in the same area as another person, but it doesn't really matter. There is a health bar, but, like, the health bar is too insanely high for you to even, like, ever need to worry about it. So, what I did there was I turned on the camera, so now the casino camera is watching camera 3, and also I learned the password to turn on the casino cameras. In which I turn on this camera. So now that I've solved the puzzle, it'll instantly cut to the scene where it shows them being saved. So this guy realizes she's in danger and goes off to save her. Now, I wouldn't recommend to do this at home because if you see someone, yeah, or we'll wait to see what happens really. So it's all like, yeah, he did it. White screen, save the day. So he scares off the giant spider attacking us. Don't worry, that was a giant spider, is it? So if you see someone wrapped in cocoon web, maybe you shouldn't just... Oh wow, you saved me. Decides to randomly kiss her. Nice. And she's actually blind. I didn't realize that the first few times when I was playing it first, because I wasn't paying attention to the story properly. They are actually saying text in between this. I'm just, you know, mashing, clicking right through it like that. So in this sense, we get this mask, which is her mask, which basically means when we do our hearing ability, which was when we zoomed out of the screen and was able to do the little sonar thing, we can hear more clearly, and that's what her ability was. And we use that to overhear some codes that people press into machines to get through different sections. It's sort of Metroidvania-esque in the way of you getting different abilities to access different parts of the hotel, mansion. Yeah, Trinity's perfect hearing. So now I have to reset the time to 4 PM after it resets all the way over to 12. Make sure I actually get up, because that's the actual command. Ooh. Yeah, okay, reset the time to 4. because exactly at that point, when I walk to a certain location, there'll be someone typing in the password that I need. So that's the sort of thing with routing in this game. Like, before I was really playing it, this wasn't a thing. We did something slightly slower. So just optimizing and knowing exactly where everyone is. So I'm going to spy through this keyhole, press spacebar to hear the casino bar, and then, of course, get the password, shift out of it. And then teleport the time to 8, because that's the next time we need in order to do what we gotta do next. So going on to the next part of the hotel, as you can hear, like, the music gets a bit more and more intense as time goes on, so music is pretty heavy right now. Hey, there's the first collectible you get in the game. If you're playing 100%, which is picking up all those different cards, that would be the first time you actually... and yeah, quite a nice little change, because now it's the theatre music. The music in this game is pretty cool as it changes and during each different little section, and we're about to have another migraine to the person we're about to save next, which is Willow Blue, the flame in the dark. So since it's 8, this is already past the time she's already died, so we are about to see her dead, so if you're not a fan of dead bodies, more like spot the dead body, it's going to be in the next room. It's kind of not so subtle, but don't worry about that, we're just going to leave again. Basically, before she dies, she drops that bone key into the room, and we've got to go pick it up to access her chest so we can get a recipe thing. Which will all make sense if you actually play the game and follow through the story and look at the different things that are happening with it. And reset the time. Nice. So now we got the recipe, we can start and do the whole mission normally. Ooh. So first step would be actually travel up to where we were before, up to the upstairs section of the mansion, which we're gonna do there. And we actually have quite a bit of time to actually get up there. Ooh. Sometimes when you hold, like, move, which is right click on the mouse, it'll lock into moving into a certain way, and so when you're transitioning, it'll be confusing. Alright, so that's the code, 5564. So there was that tower we could have gone to, which was slightly faster, but it doesn't save any time because we have to wait for a certain segment anyway, so it makes no difference. Alright, so we got to go down this hallway. There's quite a lot of like fish in this game. In this little section is kind of cool because they make all different cocktails and all that sort of thing in the bar, which we'll see in the next little segment. So yeah, there's this key here to find out why the Hungry Charm's there. You could watch a ghost drop it later because there's ghosts in this game too. Luckily the doors haven't been too finicky for me so far. I'll just press spacebar to check where everyone is. Cool. Because there's a small trigger I've got to watch out for. And make sure I don't mess it up. But really the timing isn't too tight right now. Alright, so we just gotta watch this door. And essentially watch this person. Ooh, that's weird. It's a little weird color glitch. Okay, so we discovered there's a painting thing and we can go into it there. Which we're about to follow her into it to save her life because confusing things are about to happen. So you see the skull is flaming right now. That means there's a person in the room we're about to enter. So that means I've got to wait for them to go through across the room. And now we use the Hungry Seal Charm that we were preparing all that time to be able to open this door for some reason, which there are reasons behind it in the game. And quickly go up this ladder. So for some reason, when you're on a different floor to someone else, like slightly up here, it also counts as being in a different room, so it's fine. And to solve this puzzle, we've essentially had to get into this room using the charms things, and then turn this pipe so it lands onto this candle over here. And unfortunately, we do have to wait for everything to actually process. See, it's really annoying how cycles work in this game, because if this event happened like half an hour later on this clock, we would be able to skip and save a lot of time, but we just can't make it, because if you noticed in a different room we passed earlier, there was a clock that we could have started the day from. So yeah, that goes down. She won't hear whatever demon she's trying to talk to, and she doesn't decide to kill herself, unfortunately. Luckily. We like Willow. Willow's great. Ooh, yes. Yeah, it's just small little routing things in this game, and that's all that this game's all about. So yeah, just keep on mashing, get through the text boxes. In the actual speedrun of this, there's a small debate whether to use an auto clicker essentially, just to make it a little bit faster and not like ruin your wrists every time you do this. I'm a little bit against it, but the community kind of wanted it, so whatever they want. I've sort of just done it via hand now, just to make things less complicated tech-wise. Okay, so this is the next mask we get. This mask lets us see ghosts when there's a candle lit up in the room, so this one here. So we can now see the giant ghost thing. That's actually, yeah, this is an anglerfish. Pretty scary. So that was the thing that was talking to Willow and trying to make her do something bad, essentially. So next is the music room that I have to go to, which is, rather than when we go up the stairs, it's to the left rather than going down, which you'll see in a minute. But before that, I have to pick up a music disc from the bar, whatever they're called, record. And I'm pretty sure I can make this timing. Yeah, it should be alright. Because sometimes I'll start from that clock there rather than the prior one. But yeah, we just gotta pick up that. I mean, hopefully no doors screw me over here, because that would be annoying. Ooh, there was a little music sound glitch there. That's a bit weird. So yeah, you can pretty much entirely play this game with the mouse. There are like a few button commands you need. Originally it was planned to play with a controller, but they put in mouse control later, and there's some things they didn't think about, hence why like the characters glitch out sometimes when using mouse control. So yeah, now we can talk to Ghost, and the next person we've got to save is Tequila Belle. She's the singer and very musical person, hence the music notes around her mask. And basically, there's a song she sings, and during that song she managed to shatter the glass behind her, which ends up killing her. So what we've got to do is distract the person that's playing the piano right now by putting this record in here. So he complains about all the ruckus, goes to check what this is, and then we lock him in the storage cupboard. Yeah. Because that cupboard actually has bars, you can pick up the key. That's in here and go find. So let's see if I made the timing. So yeah, what the hell is this noise? And he's walking all the way down here. We can also watch him if we press X here. And he's walking into there now. I sometimes get confused since there's another person that walks through that door, and I sometimes hear the sound of him opening the door and think it's the other dude, and just walk into this room early, which pauses time, which is really annoying. And use the key on the door, lock the door. Hey, save the day again. Oh, and I don't know if you heard, but the gunshot that just happened there was the original gunshot from that killed Reginald at the very beginning. So every time you go through the day, you can hear small little sound effects that'll go out throughout the mansion, which will happen exactly every time at the exact time that this happens. So for example, there's lights that flicker later on in the day, there's or the gunshot as you mentioned. So here's a little singing segment. I think I'll stay a little quiet for this singing section, just so you can hear this song that's implanted into the game, which is really quite nice. Alright.
I had no intention to fall or to lose my calm. Oh, but you came along with that crystalline smile, and now I'm a fool for you. And I forget how to walk. One smile, I can't. One look, and I shatter like glass. One smile, I'm holding you.
Alright. So something quite ironic about her lyrics there is the fact that she dies by shattering by that glass shattering, and she gets killed. But luckily we don't get to see a lot of the deaths in this game. Well, I don't know if it floats your boat, I don't know. And we watch her slowly walk down to the door. Yeah, a lot of this game is cutscene. So next we actually get her mask, and her mask lets us shatter glass that we'll see, and most of the glass you can shatter is sparkly and all that sort of thing. So this time it's actually put on the mask and goes to the window. Ooh, mixing it up a little bit. So migraine, we can get the ability. There we go, Tequila's shattering voice. So next up, we're about to see we're about to meet one of the main antagonists in the game, which is Golden Mask. He's basically the one controlling the mansion, essentially. At least that's what it seems like. A lot of the story you won't really get, since I'm skipping a lot of the text boxes and I'm not watching a lot of like things that are going on. And she's crying. Don't worry about that. All right. Unfortunately, this game saves quite frequently, and there's no like cutscene skips I can do to like automatically skip to after this cutscene or anything. So that's annoying. I've tried it all. This was one of the first few games that I really got into speedrunning in. So he then set our time to this in a place in attempts to try to trap us into this area, because we can't actually get out of this area at the moment until we solve the next puzzle. So this puzzle that we've got going right here has actually got a little bit of a tight cycle that I've got to make, so hopefully I make it, so I won't lose any time. So first I'm going to trigger this head migraine here, so we've got to save Grayson, and Red Rodrich. All the characters have like a small little theme, which is quite cool, and quite a lot of them are, well, all of them are interconnected, which are really cool, so you can see all the different story and how they came to the mansion and why they're there, and all the things that happen to them, like Willow painted and stuff. So I've got to go over here and pick up the lighter, which is the second item that you'll keep throughout the game, even when time resets. So we have the pocket watch and the lighter. There is a third one we get later on, which is a ring, but you'll find out later when we get it. Okay, so the timing we've got to make is I've got to light this torch and then actually catch up to this guy. They might not be able to make it. Okay, cool, we made it. So he tells us something special that we need to know before actually completing this mission, or saving these two people. So now it's 8, the final finale happens. He's trapped in a box, don't worry about that. And we basically have to turn off the electricity so they don't electrify to death. And what that ghost told us earlier was there's actually a secret compartment here that we've got to turn on this fuse switch before the switches will actually work. And that switch that you see there, right there, we've got to press that at the same time as the switch in this other side of the room, hallway here. And basically the other guy that walked in will press that switch, and we've got to press this switch over here. Alright. Save the day, no mistakes so far, and we made the cycle. So without doing that, he would try to break open the doors naturally and get electrified, and these swords that would come down would just stab him. So what's fun is they're all interconnected. Like, there's a book you can read at the very beginning room that tells you about one of the earlier people, and when you pick up the collectibles, which are the cards in the game, which are all different cards for different suits, you can learn more about each individual character and all the different routes around the mansion. That's a little strut walk there, hey. I know, this game is very much, you can speedrun it and just enjoy the game that you're watching, at least. Like, if you don't actually enjoy this game, you might not enjoy speedrunning it too much, to be fair. And to be fair, it's not very popular speedrunning it, but I enjoy it for sure. Nice. Bloody Lady shows up and we've got to use his mask again. So the one that was trapped in the cage originally that we broke out is actually a master locksmith, lockpick and locksmith, who, because he was so good at breaking into places, Lucas, the owner of the hotel mansion, decided to hire him for the security for the place, and his mask lets us pick any lock. And if you actually watch the whole scene of the whole theatre and it coming down on him, you'll actually see the fact that he was trying to get to the trapdoor, and that gives you a little hint to figure out actually how to get out of this place, because you won't, you're stuck in this place until you figure out there's a trapdoor here you can actually unlock with his special power. So hey, for all the people tuning in just to try to figure out how to get past this section of the puzzle, there you go. So yeah, there's this basement section that you can go down, and there's this secret passageway up to a wine cellar behind the bar. So this next segment is probably the most, one of the more complicated parts of the segment. It's not hugely, well, it is timing based, but there's just a lot of different parts to it, and it's the longest segment of the run. It's heaven and hell, essentially. It's, well, which is the name of the place we're going to next, but we're going to try to save Thanos and Aurorum. Which, hey, Thanos, Greek god of traveling to the death, the, you know, taker of the death, and Aurorum meaning like gold and light and all that sort. Bringer of death. So I've got to set my clock here and then reset to it, just so timing happens. So I can, well, essentially do the next section, because from the very start you can have access to the front room, and there's these two people that talk in it, but they go into separate different rooms that you can't access yet, but now we can access them, and so now we can save them. So So the first step that we've got to do is take off the music, so we can actually hear the people talking in this room. Turn on the lighter, so we can actually hear the ghosts and see the ghosts in here. Then walk around to the other section so we have a faster time getting there, essentially. Also, there's if you were paying attention to the geometry of the game, that door should be weird. That door shouldn't make sense. But hey, if you're trying to 100% this game, you'll see what that door's for. Also, you see the antagonists there. The reason why I'm messing around is because I kind of have to wait for these people to leave the room anyway, so I have time to just mess around a little bit. There's nothing I can really do about it. It's also small little things, like one of them is in a wheelchair, so it just takes them longer to... their door animation is just taking a little bit longer. So normally what you'd do, you'd probably spy on them through the keyhole, but we can actually just listen to them. I'm expecting a text box to appear here saying, yeah, man, I love his work. Okay, so that guy's the guy that says the passwords. That's why I know I'm safe there, and I'm close enough. There we go. Password's Eleanor. It's annoying the fact that I have to know all these different little things, but I guess it just adds to the routing of the game. So before you could go to this section, but you couldn't go past this lock here because it was of course locked, and we're using his special power in order to unlock it. Now, when you're in the room as someone else, you can't do many actions other than leave the room. So that's why we've got to make sure we're at least in the animation of doing the action we want to do before they get into the room, which only happens really one other time. So this segment is probably happening in 2 cycles. What I mean by cycles is the resets that will happen. So I'll be resetting the day once, so this is during the first cycle, and I'm prepping everything so I can complete the puzzle in the second cycle, which was, it was found out after I started playing this game, and it was quite cool that it was managed to find out. So we found the library winding key, so we could, you know, wind up the library key. Man, it's really surprising how they put a lantern in the top of that handle up there. Man, that would be a pain to light every time. Also, if you notice, there's some quite cool paintings all around which are like modern artwork, but they've sort of distorted them quite a bit. So there's a few you'll recognize every now and again. I'm not one for modern art, so I wouldn't know all the much, but... And there's a ghost here that tells us there's a secret passageway, which you can kind of see the door already, like, come on. There we go. The ghosts are sort of annoying since, unlike every other person you talk to or thing you interact with, they'll stop time when you talk to them. So since we were in the animation of winding the key there, we could just start to reset and it'll activate that clock tower so we can use it later in the run, which we will be doing in this next little segment. So again, we have to go up here, take out the music, take off the music, turn on the lamp, and actually talk to the guy first because we know the password now, but we'll be going up into that segment later on. So this guy that's guarding the door, we're telling the password to Eleanor to. Hey, and done. But the doors are stupid. So now we've just got to get to the next section as fast as possible. So it doesn't really matter waiting for that. Because of course there's segments where I have to wait for things during the day to actually happen, and then there's segments where I basically can do it as fast as possible, since the time where, like, the window of opportunity that I have to actually do it is so small that it doesn't really even matter. a really cool thing about this game is just you get to know the layout and just where everything is in the mansion just so well. So in this room, there's no actual windows you can go in to spy through the door, and since this door here is green, if you can see it, that means there isn't a keyhole to it, so we can't spy through that door. Okay, we made that little timing there. So what we did there, we uncovered the curtains so we can uncover that beautiful painting, which we can actually look through because the eyes are hollow. And we can watch this person put this arm into this case here. And we need that arm to actually solve the next puzzle, since the next puzzle involves setting these roulette machines to the right combination, essentially. Which originally those people were thinking it was a different combination, but we're actually setting it to the right one so they don't die in an inferno elevator, which exists in this game. So I'm setting the time to 4 here just so I can fast forward a little bit, so I don't have to wait for that guy to get out of the room, so I can pick up the thing in that room. So now the guy will be here. Talking to Thanos, and we go to this dumbwaiter over here and pick up the statue arm. Basically, the next job is to actually go through each of the roulettes and set them to the right slots, which will basically be every 3rd turn. So, actually, gotta put it in first. So 1 turn, 2 turns, and 3 turns. Okay. So in the game you can watch the different person's dialogues, and the dialogues will give you hints to what you have to do, and it's really cool just watching all the different people go about their days and seeing what they do. And in the main menu in the map you can see where all they are if you've scouted it out. So now I'm just teleporting time forward so I can actually hit the roulette at the right segment. So basically one of the guys, Aurora, goes through and turns all the clocks to the right, what they think is the right combination, and we've just got to correct that essentially. But if you do it before then, he'll just mess up the combination again, which is kind of annoying. Oh hey, and there's the antagonist. It's really cool. In some parts of the mansion, you could just go into a room at certain times, and the antagonist will be walking out of that room. And cool, here's the last machine. Cool, I'm really glad I didn't mess up that segment. And white will fade, and it will show them discovering that it actually works, the elevator works, and it's not going to burn them alive. Because I don't know why you would put an inferno and an elevator into the same machine. One crazy piece of work right there. Looks pretty cool as well.
Do we have time for a quick donation?
And next we get Thanos' mask, which I can't really, I think it's a he. He designed the whole mansion and showed it how it was going to happen. What? Donation? Yeah. So, go for it.
Thank
I
you
can't
very
hear
much.
very well through the earphones.
Thank you. We have a $13.37 donation by Anonymous saying, "What a fine head." Thank you very much for your donation.
Man, I know who you are. Yes, unfortunately Thanos' mask we don't actually use. What it essentially does is when in a room we can, get more information about it, which is kind of really lame, and during the end of the game they sort of run out of ideas to what really to do with. In my opinion, they run out of little ideas. I mean, it's cool to have this just for like collectibles and finding out additional information and all, but it'd be really cool if you could use the mask to like find out another secret passageway or something like that, or if you got the mask earlier, use that to find out some of the secret passageways that are in the mansion, because that would be pretty awesome. Unfortunately, nothing like that happens. See, yeah, like the mask will appear at certain points during the run. We're basically coming to the end of it now. So now we're in the basement area where there's a few interesting little puzzles. One puzzle that actually took me quite a while is there's another machine with a statue arm missing, and we actually go to the dumbwaiter after you put in the arm again to peel it out. There's also the tree and water puzzle, which like, I mean, it's quite simple just to do now, but like when you're first doing it, it's a bit confusing about how to actually do the puzzle. So if you see, there's these different cables and wires all attached to this one segment area here, and we've got to basically light up these wires. So here's the statue thing. We've got to pull it once, but we can actually pull it a second time, and it does a little glitch. But like, it's a bit weird, but I'll do it anyway. So, hey, and it'll trigger walking and everything. I think that's just something again towards them not thinking about mouse controls. There was an actual glitch during this game that someone found, where for some reason when they went down into this segment, this part of the run was already finished, which was really bizarre, and we can't figure out why or how it happened. I think it was like 8th place on the leaderboard, since they just didn't have the rest of the run quite well. So yeah, this is where it gets kind of more supernatural, well, more than ghosts and demons and stuff. And the mansion sort of falls apart a little bit, since there's this graveyard at the bottom of the mansion, and there's one of the rooms to the left here where it's just like this spiraling giant staircase of cards, which if you get all the 100% of cards, you can go and get like, basically the final card, which is a pretty cool little thing. So this is the water tree puzzle here. We gotta get water, and you gotta fill the water cup up, and you gotta put it onto the tree, and that's the puzzle essentially. Which is really complicated because you actually have to do it multiple times through resets. If you heard there, that's the clock bell going, so that's the sound of Willow dying, which is really quite. Well, it's not cool that she died, but you know, it's cool that the sounds happen and persist throughout each of the day, and if you're going through that different part of the segment, you'll hear. So this is a weird operating room which is kind of confusing and you don't really know what happens to it, but it will be revealed later. Ooh. So yeah, I've got to reset now. So the confusing thing about the water cup puzzle is it's different from all the other puzzles in the run. It's like that down in this basement, when you reset, usually you would lose everything that you have and time will reset and you have to do everything you do again. But in this, everything stays. So every time you water the tree, the tree eventually just starts getting bigger and bigger, so you actually have to reset twice and water the tree each of the 3 times, which is quite cool because I did it accidentally the first time when I was playing through this normally, because I didn't quite realise what was happening. Well, at first when I was playing through this normally, I didn't notice that giant red bulging wire. So I thought, oh man, I solved the 2 puzzles, what's wrong? Why isn't it opening the door now? See if you notice the tree is slightly bigger. And reset. I've got to do one more time before the door will open for me. Don't have to worry about timer or anything here. There are other categories of this game which do make the game a little bit more confusing. 100%, which means you have to pick up all 52 cards in the deck, which are annoying if you're playing this game casually, because it tells you if you've collected some of them, but it doesn't. It'll just give you a number and say like 48 out of 52, and you'll be really confused about how to find those last 2 cards. And you have to search wikis to try to figure out which of the 2 cards you missed because you wouldn't know. Ah, it's really annoying. It'd be nice if they told you which collectibles you're missing. I remember I spent like a good weekend rooting out all the 100% category, and it was really quite fun actually. Yeah, and finally that table is, you know, lit up. So I can enter that door. So we're about to see the heart of the mansion, the thing that makes the mansion tick. And it's kind of weird, like... It's actually this dude in a mask in a cage that leads out the juice that fuels the mansion. I mean, it makes a little bit more sense if you pay attention to the story, but like... And he hasn't got 4 arms, it's just, you know, the reflection in the water that they've tried to do there. And you know, they're missing each other. And he throws this ring through the door, and the final antagonist comes out behind him, and it explains a bunch of stuff here, but of course, text boxes, how do I use those? And that is me just clicking through all of them. So he tried to basically eliminate us, stops time, but the master of the mansion looks at him and is like, no, we're gonna save him, and sets time back and forward so we can actually run off. So ironically here, it'll reset us back to a point where we actually hadn't it'll just kind of assume that you would have gone each and every one of the clock towers, but we actually don't have this clock tower, so it's kind of funny. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, it matters a lot more for 100%, but not this category. Oh. So the next section of the game, we have to go to a place you wouldn't normally think of. Maybe you would have thought of if you thought about the character abilities and really explored the hotel, but mansion. I keep making that mistake, man. Because actually at the very beginning there was an area where the glass windows were really shiny, so we can actually break that area and go into the garden. Now that garden can be quite laggy, so hopefully there isn't too much lag for that, and there's just another card we could have picked up there. So that plot twist earlier, you know the secret passageway into the one? There was another secret passage going that way. They're really creative about how all the different places link up. So that's actually how you got into the basement. So good thing these guys are already out of that main room that we need to be in, or else that would have been annoying. So yeah, it can be a little laggy there, which we're safe. So yeah, this door we can actually break open using our shattering glass abilities. So it seems like we're okay so far, but yeah, here's the lag. Hey, we're good, we're good. Cool, yeah, so this is a nice little beautiful area outside the mansion that we're actually going to see the mansion owner's wife, who isn't a huge fan of like the big high life casino work, and likes a more peaceful life. Or, you know, so we can use the ring to actually get into the place. Or so we thought, because, you know, it's actually the hotel on mansion on fire. Okay, yeah. The only thing to really note here is the doors will burn up if you take too long. So that's why we have to... Oh. Come on, do the thing. Do the thing. There we go. And reset time to that clock. Nice, so now we can actually go through this little segment here. So unfortunately we do have to reset there. I'm pretty sure there is no timing that lets us actually get into that section. without having to reset or do something stupid, so we just go for it. It can also be a little laggy going through this door here, so hopefully this door doesn't. There we go. We've got to escape out to the garden again and go through the door for real this time, because there was a trap placed on it, which showed us the hotel mansion in all its, come on, thank you, explosive glory. Nice. And there's also like other little things you can see in this place, like people holding up weird dices and all that sort of thing. Yeah, we can go through it now normally, and we can talk to the wife. Who is she? Yeah, see, and she's actually heavily pregnant. A lot more clicking and a lot more dialogue, a lot more story drop. We show her the ring. She holds it close to her heart, and it's actually quite sad. So it's like a little teardrop ring, but when you put it together with the other half of the ring, it makes this ruby heart ring, which is quite lovely. Also, this game's very fond of just like hair that just dangles down to the floor and just like bigger than the body itself, which I kind of enjoy the art style. Nice, and she walks off slowly, and then the red lady will appear whenever she finishes walking off slowly. There we go. There we go, Eleanor. So yeah, the password to that gate door earlier was Eleanor, which is the wife of the mansion owner. So we can actually put on her mask, which lets us be able to go through the lets us go through mirrors to other parts of the mansion, just so we can teleport around a little bit. And also in our mini-map, it reveals every single person in every single room at every single part of the day, which was really helpful for routing this game. And she weeps over the child. For reasons you'll find out later. So here's another confrontation with the... That's annoying. Confrontation with the boss, and he teleports us to a random clock somewhere. So he goes around to each part of the mansion, showing each of the guests' deaths in sort of like this big finale of showing off the different finality of each part of the deaths and like the reasons why they died that way. Basically, it shows that he's controlling how each and every one of them are dying, and like some ways, maybe I'll change it so they die in a slightly different way this time, and it's really quite cool, but it's just annoying on the hands, if anything, speedrun wise. It also gives a lot of more information about why these sort of things are happening. Yeah, otherwise it's pretty cool. And there are slight things you can do with the keyboard, with mouse control rather than keyboard. That sometimes after he finishes talking, we can glitch it so we continue walking. So that's why I'm holding right click now to try to get that to work. So after we stop walking, okay, it didn't work. It doesn't really save much time, it may be like a second overall after all of it split up, but we can start walking before and just walk and run at our faster pace rather than the slower pace. There we go. So rather than have to wait, we still have to wait for him to walk over there, but then we don't have to then afterwards run over to that segment. There we go, door's working. So you didn't get to see it earlier, but down the elevator, she went down and obviously got burnt up. If you kept watching during that day, you would have seen Aurorum come up, all fried. He also gives an explanation of what this room really even means. But notice, yeah. And also goes into this room and basically says something about time and how it's weird. I mean, you could have read that if you paused this. And then finally the graveyard. Sort of representing all the people that have died around the mansion. And the 2 graves there. Nice. So this is kind of getting into the final segment of the game. It shouldn't really last much longer at all. We've just got to go up to a section and break some glass, really. Okay, getting caught on a text dialogue. That's not fun. Alright. So the only small timing that we have to make is we have to get to this door and unlock the door before this guy walks through the door here, which there we go, he's about to. Because if he walks through the door, we can't actually open that door until he's finished and he walks through it himself. So that's the 2 of diamonds at the very beginning, who goes up and kills Reginald in the chapel. So again, to the very first area. It's sort of nice how it's, you know, finishes with the very beginning. And there's actually the stained glass here, which, hey, we can shatter. Sort of time stops down and everything distorts, and the dialogue box here, I don't know if it yeah, is you figured it out, please come in, essentially. Nice. So this is sort of the finale section, and this was what Reginald was talking about at the very beginning, when he said, Reginald, Lucas, what have you done? Because we meet up with the antagonist, and he explains finally what actually happened in the mansion, and why it burst into flames. So all the planning that this person went through. So unfortunately we do have to watch the entirety of Lucas's whole charade. And it's pretty self-explanatory, you know, you can read out the text if you want to in your minds, because, hey, I'm not very good at voice. So he sort of explains, if you weren't reading properly, that he was living a high-risk lifestyle with lots of mansions, casinos, and alcohol, and all that sort of thing. And he just had a child with his wife Eleanor, so he wants to destroy the mansion, have it blow up, and then claim the insurance to live a peaceful life from then onwards. But of course, as you saw earlier, by the explosion in the graveyard, things didn't quite go how it planned. Now, in this game you can set your clock to any single clock that we actually, that is an actual clock in the game. We can set it so we reset there each part of the day, and that's a heavy part in this figuring out how to solve this puzzle, since basically the antagonist of the game, Golden Mask, thinks we're locked in this room and there's no real way to save Lucas from actually dying. Oh, how's time looking? Is time looking okay? Like, this is a segment I can... Nice. So he's essentially planning to blow up hotel, but oh no, the bomb went off early, and while everyone he cared for and everyone he valued was still in the mansion, so everyone, yeah, fire, the theater, it burns up, everyone, boom, you can hear it. Yeah, unfortunately there's no way to real skip this, even in the other category in this game which skips most cutscenes. You still have to watch through this one. Jump. So some actual text boxes. So he resets the time, and now we've got to figure out the puzzle. But unfortunately, to figure out the puzzle, we've just got to kind of wait until he leaves the room and comes back in with the clock, since the clock on the bomb is actually a clock we can reset to. So we can reset to the beginning and basically travel with the bomb to get out of this locked zone. Because every time we go down to that room, even when he leaves the room, you get stopped. A small little thing you can do just while waiting is just play around with the physics here. Sort of just... You could talk to these people, but it does pause time, so I won't bother. It's pretty much cutscenes from here on out. Yeah. So you can go down the stairs here, and he'll come back into the room in a minute. Like if you press spacebar, you can hear him go into the other room.
Do we have time for a quick donation?
Yeah, go for it. Plenty.
Great. We have a $10 donation from the BPG13 saying, "Told ya I'd donate something to you guys. Good luck to all runners running at UKSG Fall 18 and looking forward to some getaway Black Monday races later on by Zotan." Thank you for the donation.
Hey. Thank you. So, yeah, conveniently, there are wire cutters behind this barrel here, which we use to cut the timer. Ain't that convenient? And cut. And that's how you solve that puzzle. Hey. We go into the room, it does the whole this thing, which this is probably the longest you'll ever see, you know. In reality, you'll just never die from this. Like, I've tried to die from this to just see if you can do anything special with it, but it just won't work. So this is sort of the big reveal at the end, and the big plot twist. And the big plot twist is, you know, the fact that this guy is the savior of the mansion, this is Lucas. But actually, Golden Mask is also Lucas. And in fact, not only are those two Lucas, but you're actually also Lucas. And it's sort of like the different parts of his age. And Lufcado Boom, which was your character's name in the very beginning, is actually just an anagram for Lucas Bond, which is his name. Really long loading screens, I've noticed. Oh, not only were those three Lucas, but actually, those guys are all Lucas as well. All with different bow ties. and we're going into the final room for the final little confrontation, which he basically says, you know, you can actually stop this. You can reset time. You can reset the day and just keep living this life of being with your best friends and family the whole time, or you can reset the day, or you can continue through the day and actually move on with your life. And to finish the game, we're gonna press no, which so now there's some text boxes, and it's just a giant final cutscene of embracing the king of the mansion's mask. Oh yeah, that guy was also Lucas, if you couldn't tell. And his power is he can magically make 1,000,000 of himself, so he can save all of his friends at once. Which, I don't know, is pretty OP. Because they're all Lucas too. Gosh, there's too many Lucases in this game. So yeah, he puts the bullet in the gun, saves the guy. He turns on the camera, even though we didn't do it in that order, but whatever. Turns the tube, puts out the water, locks the person in the closet. So in that sense, you're locking yourself in the closet? Time's coming up really soon as well. Essentially on credit roll. I'll say go, or A. And finally, saving Lucas at the end. Saving yourself, so you can move on with your life. And saying goodbye to all the past and all the trauma that you went through in the mansion exploding. Unfortunately, it waits for this song to end, and then another sound effect to play in the graveyard here. And loading screens, eh? Go. Yeah, okay. There you go. There's time. Hey. Nice. And that's the game. I think there's an interview coming up after this, which we'll deal with, and I guess we'll move on to that.
Every rooftop talk, every stolen kiss, every late night walk, every secret wish, every second chance, every time we dance underneath the light of the street lamp.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching the United Kingdom Speedrunners Gathering Fall